Hello, everybody. This is Jim. This is Thursday, June 9th, 2016. This is part two of Saturday's webinar. Ish was not finished with his message, and so he asked that we could come back and finish it. I have Mark Zinzo here today monitoring for questions if anybody happens to show up or wants to come in. And hello, there he is. And we have Ish coming in to finish up the message that he started on Saturday. What was the date on Saturday? The 4th? June 4th, 2016. Now, he kept me up a couple nights with this, so I know that he wants you to be aware of what's happening and that he wants to make some corrections, or I'm not corrections, but additions to what he spoke of on Saturday. So I will only be a minute, and then Ish will come in, and hopefully we will get this finished. Have a good day, and I hope all will understand. Greetings.
Welcome, Ish.
Thank you very much.
It'll be a few minutes before we have people joining us online, but I think we'll be able to catch you on recording later.
That's all right. It does not matter if anyone is listening at the moment. I just needed to finish the information that I had started earlier on Saturday. First of all, let me do a little bit of a recap. It does appear that there are people that are starting to experience this energy that is coming into the solar system. This is fourth and fifth dimensional energy that is in cloud-like formations that we have not seen for 250 to 225 million to 250 million years. That is about how long it takes for the Earth to do one revolution around the center of the galaxy. So therefore, this is a phenomenon that we do not know much about at this point. Of course, there are other phenomenons like this in the universe or in the galaxy. However, there is none that ever has passed through space where humans are. So we do not know the effect that it will have on human psychology or human thought processes. So that is what our concern is. But let us tell you about what is going on. First of all, on Saturday's webinar, we told you about how that it appears that the timeline looks like it's separating. Well, from some points of view, it looks like the timelines are coming together. So there is a different perception of what is happening with the timeline at this point. So some of the things you may be experiencing at this time is like very interesting deja vu where you will see your foot move ahead of your footsteps, or you may see yourself a few feet away from yourself and move back together with yourself. Because when timelines are very close together, you may witness yourself or other people that you know in the same room in duplicate. One in your timeline and one in theirs. Does this make sense to you, I'm sure? But at this time, it is very mild. We are seeing a few effects of it here and there, but not a great deal of it is here yet. By the middle of September, a greater portion of this fourth dimensional cloud or whatever it is will be hitting around the your solar system. And therefore, you may see some great fluctuations in the timeline. So, therefore, we do not know what to expect at this point. This has never been studied. I was not around 250 million years ago. Neither were human beings. And so, even the Akashic record does not know what will be happening at this period of time. They do note that there has been other experiences in other portions of many other galaxies where other species have gone through similar time warps or anomalies such as this, and this was one of the effects that it had. What double visioned, meaning that you could see yourself in a ghost-like form, or other your perhaps people in the room in a ghost-like form, just several feet away from each other, but then they move back together. Remember that these particular clouds of fourth dimensional energy are very fluctuating. And also, we cannot exactly know if they're going to pass through the center of your solar system or not. We hope that it will miss to a great degree the entire solar system, but as it looks now, it looks like is a dense pocket of fourth dimensional energy that will definitely hit the Earth. So therefore, some of the species that are in the solar system right at this moment are leaving. 27% have already left. So therefore, they are waiting for this to pass. It will come between September, the middle of September, and sometime before February or by February. It should go through that period. It is long enough to last for several months. So if it does hit in the solar system in this particular time, then it will be causing some interesting disruptions. Now we see that there's also a pocket of 50 dimensional energy, if you want to call it that. I don't know. It's different language for different peoples. So therefore, we don't know exactly how to explain it to you so that the whole world will understand, but we can explain it to you as it was taught to human colony, basically. So therefore, there is some fifth dimensional entities in this pocket as well. We're hoping that none of that will hit because we have no idea what that would bring. It's just a slight area. We are not even sure what causes these pockets. We're thinking that a fourth or fifth dimensional society was actually in this area because it would seem like a sentient group of people would have fourth or fifth dimensional energy other than it just being there without any sentience whatsoever, meaning no life forms whatsoever and just having fourth and fifth dimensional energy there. However, it does appear that this anomaly is just that, fourth and fifth dimensional energy that is in space in a cloud-like form. And it's not sure how it maintains its shape or size because it does fluctuate quite a bit. But this is the first time humans will ever be experiencing it. And any species such as humans would be experiencing it. So we're hoping that actually it will be rather less effective than we think it might be, because other species have reported that, according to the Akashic record, that when it does hit a spatial anomaly like this with fourth dimensional energy, that things do get disrupted. You will be noticing that there are some things that will change, because when two timelines either meet or separate, there will be differences in information. These different kinds of information will be the spellings of different things, the creation of different things. You will notice that perhaps something that you noticed at one time was spelled one way is spelled a different way now, or something that was once probably a fast food place is now a fancy restaurant, or a different kind of place, and you'll not know why it is that way, and then you'll come back the next week and it'll be that the same as it was before, because the different timelines have slightly different things in them. Now, I'm not saying it will be that drastic. You may not find a whole different restaurant in a place, but you might find that it serves different kind of food. It might have the same name with a different spelling, but it serves certain different things than the original did, because it looks like what is going to happen with this particular anomaly coming through is that it could push a bunch of timelines together or separate the timeline that you're in. We're not sure. You see, it can be seen by several different perceptions to be several different things. And this is why I wanted to continue Saturday's uh, uh, webinar, because this is a very important thing. You must sort of prepare yourself. You are not going to be going insane, and you're not going to be experiencing psychosis. This is not the case. And also, those people in third dimension that are very third dimensional may experience less than those that are highly fourth dimensional, because it does work with the fourth dimensional energy in third dimension. Does that make sense to you? I see that there are many people watching at this time. I think that I should take some questions before I go forward, just because I need that portion to be clear. Is that very clear to you? Also, before I take a question, when listening back to the Saturday tape, it said, I said something about it seems like the timeline will be extended. It should say expanded, as if in separating, not as if in elongated, but as in separating from the center. It will seem like it's separating, but it will also seem like timelines are coming together. It's actually an illusion that has several different perceptions. Is it coming together or is it separating? It looks like both. It looks like it's separating and coming together. And it's possible it could take and make two different timelines that will also come together. We are not sure. That is just why we are doing this webinar, because this particular energy is really not very known and studied. It is an anomaly in the galaxy, and it has been experienced by other species, but it has not been experimented with humankind, and that is the part we don't know. So we understand what it is. It's fourth and fifth dimensional energy that's in a cloud-like form, and it is fluctuating, and different things, blah, blah, blah. That will make no more scientific sense to you than trying to explain quantum physics to a fourth grader. But the thing is, that's not an insult, by the way. That's just what it is. But I do need you to understand that the actual effects of it are unknown if it does hit the way that it looks like it will. Is there questions out there?
Could I start?
Yes.
For those that joined a little late, could you redefine briefly what it is, how soon we expect it, and how long this may last?
It's fourth dimensional and fifth dimensional energy in cloud-like anomaly pockets. It's like an anomaly. It's like a cloud. And we have not yet experienced anything like that on Earth. You have not. We have experienced it in the galaxies with different species and different things, but humans have never experienced it before. And now it looks like it is headed right toward the center of your solar system. Now, the Akashic Record has no information on what it will be like when it interacts with humanity or Earth. So because Earth has not been through this anomaly for at least 225 million years, and there were no humans at the time when it first went through this area of the Milky Way. So we are just saying that it is fourth dimensional energy, an anomaly that is very rare. It does happen other places in the universe, in galaxies, but humans have never been through it before. And it could cause people to see themselves, because what it looks like is that the time line is either separating or coming together, where it's not sure. It can look like both. So therefore, if it comes through in the strongest portion, it could bring several timelines together in one place, which is unheard of. I mean, it's happened before, but the Akashic record is very vague on the outcome of it because there's so many outcomes of it. The outcomes of it are not specific because they're only specific to each individual. Does that make sense? So therefore, it is a rather interesting time. We hope that it doesn't go through the area of your solar system as densely as it looks like at the moment. But because of the elliptical revolution around the center of the Milky Way galaxy, it does speed up and slow down a little bit towards the outer ends. But it does look like it is going to hit your solar system in some way. We're just hoping it doesn't do the full effect. So we're just hoping that it's still very fringe. But right now, it looks like it has already started. There are some things that have been noticed by people. They're calling it the Mandela effect. If you look that up, you will see that the Mandela effect is being reported by many people in many places. Now, is there questions? I'm sure there is now that I went back over it very quickly.
Did you touch on how long it will last?
Oh, it will last between the middle of September to February. That is if the strongest portion hits. It still will last that long, but hopefully you will get only the outer edges of it, and it won't be as strong or as long. But that would be the worst case scenario. September, middle of September to February, a little bit into February. All right, are there any questions out there?
They're just trying to arrange themselves to decide who goes first.
I see.
Did I hear you say that some 3D people won't even notice this?
Some 3D, they'll notice it, but they won't want to talk about it. They'll act like they don't notice it. They'll see some effects of it. They'll experience some effects of it. But of course, like with everything else in their lives, they won't want to acknowledge anything other than what they feel is sane. So they'll feel like they are being a little bit psychotic, or they'll feel like their world is a little different, and they might worry about that. But if anyone brings it up to them, many of them will deny it. Unless they go through the very strongest portion, then they won't be able to deny it at all.
One person asked if we've been trained to deal with this before coming to Earth.
No, you haven't. Not that I know of. It is an experience that I do not know if they could even put in a contract. But God will know what to do, I am sure. But I am just letting you know that it exists. I am not sure what will happen. I'm not even sure that you will get the full effect of it. But I am giving you this warning now just in case, because I do see that it exists. And from my point of view, it looks rather interesting. It fluctuates rather crazily. And there have been people that are starting to report what they call the Mandela effect.
Okay. Dan, I think, has a question.
Dan. Continue, Dan.
I may be misreading the chat. Let's go to Carolina.
Carolina.
Hello, Ish.
Hello, Carolina. How are you?
Hello. I'm okay, thank you. Thanks for
Very
coming.
well.
My question is, could you tell us how best to deal with this energy, please? And whether how do we know it's a good energy, or how will this
Well,
affect us?
well, the thing is, it's fourth dimensional energy, so it will affect your fourth dimensional energy for the most part. So, which may help you to see the timelines more uh, readily than the third dimensional people that are more third dimensional and do not have their sights on their fourth dimensional energy at all. But if do not panic is the big thing, is that there will be signs that there are maybe two of you. If the timeline is very close together, you may see yourself at the other side of the room in a different timeline. Now, dealing with that is not to feel like you're going crazy, because it is fourth dimensional energy, and those that are very high in fourth dimensional energy will be experiencing more things than those that are just more third dimensional and ignore their fourth dimensional energy. However, they won't be able to ignore it when it starts happening. There will be instances where they will have to pay attention, but they will probably want to ignore it. Does this make sense to you?
Yes, yes. My other question was this energy pocket intentionally made? And
This is unknown.
right.
I do not know. The Akashic record has just that it has existed for many, many millions of years, and that it has gone through the earth before, but there was no humanity on the earth the last time that it was here. It was 237 million years ago, or something of that nature. So that was even before the dinosaurs died out in 220 million years ago. So it was even before dinosaurs.
Okay, thank you. And before I go, will this benefit our ascension?
Well, since it was unknown until recently, I think Bashar had said something about everything will change in the fall, and he might have been referring to this, and Adronis was saying that there is a separation of the timelines, or two timelines going to meet, and this is definitely an indication of this through his beings, but this is the verse that it's come along so quickly that not everyone was paying attention to it, that it was heading this direction, because it was not heading on a straight path, if you know what I mean. It was on an elliptical curve. So therefore, it was until just recently they were saying this is heading on a curve, and it's heading now toward your solar system. So it was unable to be really detected by your scientists that it was coming this direction, and it was just ignored by many other species because it was just something they would avoid when traveling through space, of course. But now it's obvious that it's coming this direction. So it was not. Now is the time for us to start really studying it and looking at it and seeing what we can do.
Thank
I have a
you,
question.
Ish.
If we see each other in the same room, oh, are you done, Carolina?
Yes, I'm done. I love you. I'll
She
let
said,
other ask the
thank you.
questions.
Thank you very much.
So, are we in any danger of crossing timelines? If I see myself in the room and jump across the room to greet myself, could I leave one timeline and enter the other?
No, it will be impossible for you to jump into another timeline. The timeline that you are in is the timeline that you are in. Now, if you are in you are in many, many different timelines, but you are specific to that particular timeline. So therefore, if you see yourself in another timeline, your other self is in that particular timeline, and you are in this one. Now, what the problem is that I see is that your timeline appears to be separating, but it also looks like other timelines are headed toward this one. So is it separating, or are there two timelines coming together and the one in the middle will be dissolved? It does not, you cannot tell, but to me it looks like the timelines are separating. That would be the way that I see it. The timeline is separating into the fourth dimensional energy is pulling itself toward fourth dimension, and the third dimension is staying still. Does that make sense to you?
I don't wrap my mind around it, but I'm going to let somebody else go next.
Correct.
I believe Sabrina.
Sabrina.
Yes, Sabrina.
So does you said that the fourth dimensional energy is pulling towards the fourth dimension, but being that there's a shift going on, isn't it a mix of third dimensional energy and fourth dimensional energy that are mixed right now, which
Absolutely.
Energy would be bringing more fourth dimensional energy, which in turn will cause the beings that are able to perceive the fourth dimensional energy to use this energy in a positive way.
We don't know. That's just the thing. We don't know the effects of these pockets or anomalies because they're a limited space and they're very active. They fluctuate a lot within themselves. So we do not know exactly how they will affect you. But yes, we're hoping that it will have positive effects, of course. But that is why we're giving you this notification. We really don't know what the effects are. We're hoping it will all be very positive. But you could see yourself in other dimensions or other timelines. Also, when I'm saying that it's pulling the fourth dimensional energy, it is separating your fourth dimensional energy in your brain is the part that will make you feel like you're being psychotic, because that will be experiencing other timelines and things, whereas people that are very third dimensional and not using their fourth dimensional energy will see more like a deja vu, perhaps. But we're not sure. They may actually go into psychosis, or actually start their fourth dimensional energy might actually be ignited to a higher elevation, and perhaps that is part of the ascension.
Yes. Now, being that this energy is coming in, would people with more fourth dimensional energy be able to perceive fourth dimensional beings more easily?
If there, yes, but what I'm saying also here is that the species that are in your fourth dimension around your planet are leaving your space, because they do not want to be experiencing this, because they are afraid of the unknown. So therefore, if they were still there, yes, you would be able to see them much more clearly. But in my opinion, I think most of them will leave, except for the blue avians and perhaps a couple other species that are high enough dimensional that it wouldn't affect them at all.
Okay. So when the people start experiencing these things, what is the best thing to do so as to you not feel that you're losing your mind, or at least
Yeah.
you can sort of bring yourself back to yourself?
Well, that's why I'm telling you. I would not want you to think that you are going through psychosis. I would not want you to think that you are insane or anything of that nature, and that is why this is so important. I have just been aware that the effects, the Mandela effects that have been reported are starting to be noticed all over the world. And so therefore it is necessary to let you know that you are not insane or psychotic when you see these things, that it's actually going to be part of the anomaly. So the best thing you do is stay calm. That is the best, and let it pass. There's nothing. We do not know what the effects are fully, so we do not know how to um, work with it really, because it's very unusual, and most species just ignore it when it's in space. So therefore, when it goes through your space, just be calm. There may be the unity of some timelines, and things may seem a little different for several months, but it will come back out of it. But you are in a small portion of it right now because people are starting to feel the effects of it, and that is why we are reporting it at this time.
Yes. You
So
are.
be calm and do not let it overwhelm you. There may be portions of this that are um, very interesting, but we don't know exactly how it works with humanity.
Yeah.
So therefore, that is why we're just letting you know. Just be safe, be calm, and don't let it overwhelm you.
Thank you, Ish.
You're welcome. And we're hoping also that you see there is places in the rotation, your solar system going around the center of the galaxy that are bumpy, which means it does not stay in an exact um, elliptical rotation because of dark energies and other anomalies that are within the Milky Way galaxy. And so that is another thing that has not been predicted, is if by the time in 3 months when this gets here, July, August, September, that in 3 months that it will have changed its rotation. But right now it looks like that it is going to come through your solar system. And right now it looks like but it's hard to tell because we don't know how black matter and different things that are in the Milky Way are going to affect that rotation and affect the speed also of that at the outer edges, because you are on the outer edges of the galaxy. So you might miss it altogether, but at this point it doesn't look like it. It's only 3 months away.
Yes, I don't believe we will miss it.
Pardon me?
I don't believe we will miss it. I think it will affect humans.
Well, there is already evidence that there are people on your internet that are reporting different Mandela effects, which means things are starting to change that are now different than the way they were before. And this is one of the effects that the Akashic Record says was experienced by other species as well. But humanity is a very strange and unique species, so therefore it could affect you differently as well. But I'm telling you the effects that they experienced. Is there any other questions?
Valerie's next.
Yes, I do. Hello,
Hello,
Ish.
Valerie.
Nice to talk to you again.
Once again, it's wonderful.
I just wanted to reiterate that I have already been having these experiences.
Yes,
Um,
many have.
yeah, I already see myself doing things in the future.
It
This
and
happens fairly often to me right now. So is this just a prerequisite to the
yes,
actual happening?
you are not in the densest part of this anomaly at this point. You are only on the outer edges, the very lightest fringe of it. Actually, you've been going through this very light fringe for quite a while now, a couple of years. but it has not really been very effective because we did not, it was not even hardly detectable. But now you're getting into detectable energy. Does that make sense to you? You're now starting to get into a portion of it that is actually detectable. Remember when we told you on 1221 the fourth dimensional energy increased? Well, this was one of the reasons. Um, it did within the next 6 months after that, the fourth dimensional energy was starting to be elevated in all human beings, and it was just seemed like an interesting anomaly that was happening without anybody's help. But this is proof now that there was some help. It was predicted, which is interesting, and that it is part of the that was part of the universal prophecy, but this has not been part of the universal prophecy unless it is part of the ascension work. And but I'm trying to find out if it was just left out on purpose. But remember, it was stated that on 12/21/12 that fourth dimensional energy would increase. It started a little bit, but 6 months after that, it was much more. But we did not detect this anomaly until just within the last couple months.
Yeah, this just started for me a couple of months ago when
Yes.
I was kind of daydreaming while I was working and seeing myself working in the future. And then, like a little Cupid type uh, angel-y thing popped up with a goofy face and giggled at me and left the scene. So I kind of
Fourth
feel like,
dimensional being, that most
okay,
likely.
so that was just like when sort of telling me this is what's to come. Well, since then, I've had several experiences like that, and it makes me feel very positive about the future. In fact, it helps to raise my vibration quite a bit because
Excellent.
I see so much
We're
positive
hoping that
coming.
well, we're hoping that it will be very positive. So that
Wonderful.
is what we're hoping, that it will continue to be of a positive effect, but we just needed to let you know and inform you that it was on its way. If indeed it is going to hit your area, you need to know.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you being here again, Ish. Namaste.
Yes, I did not get a chance to give this information on Saturday, so it was very important that I bring it to you now.
Thank you again.
You are very welcome.
Hi, Ish. I have a question. This is Wendy.
Wendy, how are you?
I'm so good. I'm so excited for you to be here, and thank you so much for bringing this information. This is very exciting and very validating. I've been feeling this influx of information coming through as if this wave that you speak of regarding the elliptical curve hasn't been evident to us because of this. And I've been receiving like this influx of information, like we're getting this burst of energy from the galactic center. And now that you're talking about this, I too would like to say I've been experiencing these multiple timeline shifts that everyone's been talking about. And in the notes I even wrote Mandela effect before you mentioned it, because I was going to ask you if that's what we were feeling.
Yes.
So I wanted to, so thank you for that, because it's been very validating, this information, because this is exactly what I've been feeling. And I too, Valerie, have been experiencing the same thing for a few months. This knowing that
I'm sure there's more out there that are feeling this and starting to notice things.
yes,
And
I'm definitely noticing. I'm definitely noticing the shift in the realities, the physical differences, sort of being able to see them both simultaneously and that kind of thing. What I wanted to ask you, in your opinion, many of us across the globe recently, over the last few months, and I'm wondering now if this is all tied into this, have been drawn to these various parts of the earth where these vortices, these chakra centers, if you will, exist all over the planet, as well as just these high energy places. And many of us have been like almost like guided to open portals. And so my question is do you think that this influx of energy is, and do you think it's related to that feeling for all of us
Absolutely.
to be drawn to this? And do you think that there's any, maybe you could explain that a little bit if you could elaborate on that, but do you also think that there's any danger in us opening these portals since we don't really know what we're doing and why we're
Actually,
feeling this pull to do so?
actually, you're protecting yourself. These portholes will give you protection.
Okay.
Because the energy coming from these portholes are very strong. The more of them that are open before this anomaly comes will be helpful to you because and also being near pyramids and things of the alien culture in the past will also be very helpful because they clarify the air, they bring balance and things of this nature. And so the closer you are to portholes or pyramids, also the closer you are to to balance.
Thank
So
you for mentioning
therefore,
that.
um, yes, I was going to bring that up, and I'm glad you did. And someone did ask what was another way to protect yourself, and it is by being close to the vortexes that are open and are working properly with positive energy,
Well, that
and
actually
closer
explains.
to
Okay, I'm sorry. I was going to say
close
that
to the
explains.
pyramids because
Yes.
around the pyramids the air is clear and everything is
Excellent.
balanced and the energy is good. So therefore protect yourself with these kind of things. Thank you for reminding me of that. I was getting so much
Many,
into
many of us,
getting
I'm so happy you mentioned pyramids because many of us have been experiencing this reigniting of the interest in the pyramids. And I'm sure you're aware of the recent pyramid conference that took place. And
and
so,
that was very timely.
yes, very timely. So I thank you for connecting these dots with us today because this is extremely important information. And I'm so happy you brought up the pyramids too because this is all really tied into this. And I really appreciate that.
And
Thank you.
some people believe that the pyramids that are buried are less powerful than the ones that are above ground, but that is not true. The energy of the universe gets through the earth rather easily, and these pyramids that are underground are still as powerful as they ever were.
Excellent. Thank you. We're all very eager to begin uncovering them, and we're hoping that the energy behind all this will build that we're able to energetically begin to uncover more and more of it all over the planet to assist us in
Yes,
this whole
there's many
process.
more to be uncovered,
Yes. Thank you. Thank
but
you.
just
Thank you for
being
being
near
here.
them is a very good thing. So, but yes, that is one way to protect yourself. And thank you for reminding me because I was so involved in getting the information out. Yes, vortexes and pyramids and things that many things of power can protect you. Anything that protects fourth dimensional energy, such as pyramids and vortexes and things of that nature, are very helpful. And they protect the earth as well.
That's very exciting to know because we're all drawn to this next energetic exchange of opening
Well,
portals in Arkansas. So this is kind of our next draw of energy. So I'm very excited, and I know that the crystals also seem to play a big part in this. The crystals across our Earth. So that's also very exciting to explore the
Well,
energy.
the crystals will react to the fourth dimensional energy. We're not sure how it will react to this kind of fourth dimensional energy because there is no life within this energy, but it is fluctuating and beautiful. It is a positive energy, of course, along with the fifth dimensional or whatever kind of other energy that is with it. You will not experience that portion. It is farther out and will not go through your solar system, but the fourth dimensional energy will definitely, we think definitely will go through. But we're not sure of how strongly it will go through it and what portion, if you will just get the edge of it or you will get a greater portion. That is not to be known yet.
Excellent. Thank you so much for confirming and elaborating and expanding on all of that. I'm feeling all this information just coming flooding in too about these additional light codes that are pouring in, and So it just thank you for all of this.
You are very welcome. And your governments actually have detected this energy, and many species, of course, but they weren't aware that it was coming this direction until just recently.
Hello, Ish. It's Sarah. How are you?
Sarah, how are you?
I'm doing well. I have a question about the pyramids. Another channeler stated that they will not be turned back on, and I had a very visceral reaction to that thought and that statement.
Okay.
Are the pyramids that we know of and others that we do not know of, will they be turned back on?
Actually, without even being turned on, they still have energy that they create and have effects on the earth. But yes, of course they will be turned back on, because they cannot be helped be turned back on with the activation of all these beautiful vortexes, and especially the ones in the oceans that are being awakened, and the very large ones. At, yes, it cannot help but be reactivated. They will be reactivated but not right now. They are very active in their own way right now, but there is a greater activation, yes, to come.
Yes, because last year I felt like I was being told to go to all of the pyramidal structures in a certain alignment around the earth and
Yes.
to tone to those pyramids. But after I heard that, I got really, like, you know, just discouraged a bit or in doubt
It's
about
all
it.
right. Do not worry. You are fine. All things are working together for the way they are supposed to. Perhaps the toning time was not yet ready.
Okay.
They might have thought that it was, but then there was a disruption in the system, and that thought was discouraged. So you do not be discouraged, because the future cannot be told a long time ahead, especially in this era. Small things can cause disruptions with certain kinds of activations, especially. Energy is very sensitive, so do not worry about it.
So I'm still going. That's still
Your
something that's needed.
It will be needed, but not quite yet.
Not quite yet. I understand. Thank you. That's better.
Not quite. So do not be
uh,
discouraged about that.
okay, very good. Yes, anyone else? I pass the mic.
Well, I just wanted to say one quick thing here. With the energies the way they are, is it true that we can sort of depend on things changing out of time? Like you might think of a timeline that you have to get something done by, but timelines are changing very fast right now. And
Well,
so,
what is happening is it looks like the timeline is doing a slight separation, but it's just expanding. It has not really separated. Does that make sense to you? It just looks wider. Like it's including things from other timelines as well. It's expanding. So it's not going to change anything like that, I don't think. At least not yet. If I
okay,
understood
thank you.
that correctly.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Ish, when you say it's expanding, can you go a little more into depth about that?
Well, the energies of the fourth dimension are pulling at the fourth dimension. So it's causing the timeline to widen out into like it looks like it's going to go into another timeline, but at the same time it's pulling fourth dimensional energy toward it as well, so that is bringing other timelines closer. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
So therefore it would appear that even now some parts of the energy of this timeline are in or starting to touch on other timelines or stretch into them.
In other words, because other ideas, if you will, from
Yes.
other timelines are coming into this one, it would seem.
And yours are going into others as well,
Okay.
the ones that are closest by.
Okay.
So therefore, you'll find spelling slightly different. Things that used to say, like the lamb lays down with the lion, it will say the wolf lays down with the lion, or the wolf lays down with the lamb, or something of that nature. It will be a change, maybe subtle or different, but it will be. There will be changes.
Now, would there be changes with the people around you?
There may be some subtle changes in personality, thought processes, the way you see things. Yes, it's very possible. But you are still in this timeline, but you're experiencing slight influences from other timelines. Influences.
Right, because it's like an overlap of sorts.
A little bit, yes. It's not a solid timeline.
Okay, now this is also influencing other timelines, does it?
Yes, they are being pulled into yours. Because the Earth timelines that are very close by, especially the ones that are very close by, are being pulled into your solar system because this is in your timeline that this is happening directly. But it is also going to be experienced by other timelines indirectly, unless it goes through theirs directly as well, which I cannot tell you because I'm not there.
Okay, thank you. Joe has a question.
Joe, hello.
Yes, hello. I was wondering, the stuff on how we experience life on Earth will change subtly. What about in astral or our fourth and fifth dimensional experiences with the other beings and things like that? Will that change?
Excellent question. Yes, it will. Because when you travel astrally, you are using a great deal of fourth dimensional energy. You may start remembering fourth dimensional in a greater way than ever before. But it may be harder to get back to third dimension. So we're a little concerned about that. I think that the people from Grukviknir, like Chakar and those people, are going to move out of your solar system a distance, so they are not affected by this. They will still be in contact with you, but I do not think during September or during that period of time, if it is that strong, that they will be taking people to the colonies, because it could be dangerous. They don't know what the effects of that would be. But your astral travel and bilocation, things of that nature, if you choose to do it on your own, then if your subconscious can do it safely, it will. But if it detects danger or anything unseemly, it will stop, because it will not put you in danger.
Okay, thank you. So it could get even more vivid and remember even more.
Yes, I would think probably in August, when you're getting closer and closer, that would be the greatest time to do your traveling and things of that nature, and probably remember a lot more. If it's not too dangerous. If your astral body tells you it's not too dangerous, then you should go.
Oh, very good. Very exciting. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Ish, it's Sarah. I
Sarah.
have a question about the fourth dimensional energy. Like Joe said, I'm getting very vivid dreams.
Yes.
They're so vivid that and I have no idea how to even describe this in a 3D terms. I had a dream that beings were on fire, skeletal beings on fire, fighting each other in a battle. It was quite crazy. But I
You're
wasn't
talking
afraid.
about, there are some sunbeam beings that are in dwarf stars that are having a battle at this time. This is what you're seeing.
And they have skeletal frames, like human skeletal frames.
They can take on this. These are very evolved species, so they can take on an image of a skeletal frame. Yes,
Interesting.
but
And
they are
human
not
frames.
really. they are not really in third dimension or fourth dimension. They are higher beings, and it is unusual for them to be at war, but in this case, they are at war with other sun beings.
Oh, because I had no idea. I was just like, whoa, what is this? Like, I can't explain this in an earthly
They
way.
are from they are from dwarf stars. Dwarf stars are very, very, very old and are
Ah,
dying suns. So therefore, they are small, and
because
they
it
are.
felt to me like the past.
No, it was not the past actually,
It's
but
not the
maybe
past.
the war started in the past, but it is going on still.
It's going on right now.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you
And
for that.
I think I'm understanding what a dwarf star is by Jim's definition, but I think you should look that up. Perhaps it's just a very old star, a star that is dying that has very old sentient life in it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, Ish. I just had a quick question. Why
Yes.
do we have to stay in third dimension if we're moving into fourth?
Well, because your bodies were born into third dimension, that's all.
But are our bodies not changing to go to crystalline?
Not as much as you might want it to. Your bodies have not changed enough to go into crystalline yet.
Okay, so
They are
changing into
still
fourth dimension isn't part of the process?
not right now. It is, but it's a very gradual process. It
Okay.
takes a long time for you to do that. It does not just happen suddenly.
Okay.
Um, I mean, it may happen suddenly at one point, but you are not ready for that point at this time.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yes, you have a ways to go before you will become crystalline beings or fourth dimensional energy. Or totally fourth dimensional. You see, your bodies are way too dense, and there's way too little fourth dimensional energy with you at this time. Um, but this will probably pick it up if it moves through your area. It will definitely add to your fourth dimensional thought processes, no question.
Well, I'm already 55 Earth years old.
Yes.
So, do I have a chance of this happening in my lifetime?
Unfortunately, I don't think so. But I am only an ascended master in spirit. I am not an expert on third dimension, but as far as I can see, it's going to take some time before the human race rises into fourth dimension. You are still far too third dimensional and dense. But there are thought processes that rise far beyond the fourth dimension, and you are able to do that. But as far as bringing your physical bodies, your belief systems are not there yet.
If your belief system was there,
Yes, then you
then
could.
it could.
Yes.
Is
Yes,
that what you're saying?
but I'm looking at the Earth as a whole. I'm not looking at
Hmm.
you as an individual.
I
I'm
see. Yeah.
looking at I'm looking at the Earth as a whole, and as
Right.
a whole, you are very far as a planet from being fourth dimensional.
I see. But
At
there are
least
probably there.
probably.
Do you think that there are some here on Earth that
Yes.
are?
Oh, there are definitely some that will reach the fourth dimensional spheres before the rest of the planet. There's no question. There's always those that are ahead of the curve. There's no question of that. But I see your planet is at least 1,000 years as a planet from fourth dimension, probably 1,100 years. But you as a person, there's a possibility you could possibly be one of those far ahead of the curve and be more fourth dimensional than many, many others. Hello?
Some of the things that I've read have said that we will be taking our whole bodies with us, and you said we were not going to do that.
Yes, you will take
Another
your whole
thing.
body with you.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
in fourth
So, do
dimension?
we get
Yes.
reincarnated once again after this lifetime if we're already of the age like I am?
Yes.
Okay.
But do not be discouraged. It is beautiful the way it is happening. And I know that humans like to rush things a bit, but it is what it is, and I can't speed it up. But I would love to say to you that you would be able to do that in this lifetime, but I don't know if that's true or not. But if you continue to move as you are, you will be very close to it, I'm sure.
Okay, then Ish, if we get reincarnated, then do we have to start over again?
In what way? No,
With our
not
ascension
completely.
process?
No, you're always moving up, and
Okay.
every incarnation moves you up, dear. Everyone, every single one. Unless you've been a terrible, horrible one, awful person, and have hurt yourself in spirituality in many ways, and then you might stay the same, but or just be slightly ahead. But no one ever really goes backwards.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Namaste.
Namaste. I love you very much. And I hear the disappointment in your voice, but don't be disappointed. You are far above the curve. I know that to be true. And you have a great mission on this earth, and that is why you're here now. And so do not be discouraged. Your mission is not finished yet in the third dimension. You have much to do.
So if I could jump in with a question.
Yes.
Last Saturday you talked about positivity, which was a very meaningful message for me.
Yes.
How can we take this energy and use it positively?
Well, that would be about your outlook and your intent. If you have a positive intent when you're heading into this, I'm sure that that will be a great help. And like I said before, I do not know the exact effects of it on the human body and psyche and mind, but I can only imagine that the intention of positivity will be a great help.
And what about, will there be opportunities to demonstrate fourth dimensional realities so that people can start thinking about it more and changing our belief systems with these events?
I am sure that there will be many, many people that will affect humanity during this period. If it goes through that section, it will definitely affect humanity in many ways.
Some way we can set up experiments to document this incontrovertibly, not just people's experiences that others will doubt.
Well, I was going to do that. Scientifically, I have lots of things that I want to do, but I don't know if it will be able to be done on your end or not, being that you're going to be experiencing so many things, unless you set it up technologically. But if you're doing it mentally and with just your own thought process, each individual have their own thought process. But a technological device might be something that would give you a more even answer, if you will.
Right. We're starting to run out of time. I'm wondering if you would just like to recap with a summary and maybe end with a blessing for us.
Well, do you really want to recap? I think I've said it 3 times already. But if you want to recap, it is that we are heading, or you are heading, well, I am heading for it too, but I am doing it in a different way. But you are heading for an anomaly that is 4th dimensional. And it's very fluctuating, and it is an anomaly in space. And it is that you have not experienced this as the human race at this point. The last time your planet went through it, it was very young. Your planet was fairly young, and there was no humans on it. So we expect that you will experience the timelines coming together or expanding and bleeding into other timelines, but we're not sure exactly what is going to happen. So that is my best way to sum it up. Plus the fact that vortexes and pyramids and things of that nature are a great help. Any kind of positive energy of that nature is going to be helpful for the Earth. So open those portholes. If you're given that instructions to open portals, definitely do it at this time. And I will leave you with a small blessing. I do not know what time it is, but I know that I have to go. So, thank you all for being with me at this time. I hope that I answered most of your questions anyway, and that I've given you the information in a way that is understandable and pretty clear. So therefore, I'm going to say a very short blessing and be on my way. Ah, bless you all. Thank you for this opportunity to bring good news or news to you and give you great love and blessings from me. I would love to be able to experience this with you in some ways. I think it would be very interesting. I love you all. You are a wonderful community of very bright and loving people. It is my pleasure to serve you, and I would just want to be around you as much as possible. Blessings and love, and may God be with you on your paths, and may this be a good and wonderful and positive and inspiring and eye-opening experience for you. Much love to you, and many, many blessings. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Ish.
you.
Mahalo.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Hello.
Welcome back, Jim. Thank you for
Hey.
that message.
Hi, Jim. That was awesome.
How are you doing? How's everybody doing out there?
We're good. How are you?
Okay. Ish kept me up 2 nights telling me that I had to do a second broadcast because he didn't get the most important part of his message across. But I think I think he did it at this point, so that's good.
Yes, yes. I think all questions were answered on the matter.
Excellent, good.
Oh,
So very good. And I have another session coming up shortly, but I have Mark here to help me with that because it was important. So
okay.
thanks for listening, and this will be out on YouTube shortly,
Very shortly.
very shortly. And have a great day, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Jim. Thank
Thank
you
Love
for,
you all.
bringing all that in.
Bye-bye.
Oh, you're welcome.
Have a blessing.
Love you, James.
Love you too, and I will see you soon. I'm glad you
Love
got
you.
back to Joe's house safely. That was good, Carolina. All right.